Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jessica Donald, and I am the art manager at David Shepherd Wildlife Foundation. I will be your host today for the 2024 Global Canvas Live Final. It is so wonderful to see so many of you dialing in already. I think I can see someone from Athens, a couple from London. Hi, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. It's so very exciting. We really want to make this as interactive as possible, guys. So please do say hello in the chat section of the Zoom, and we will try and answer as many questions as we can along the way. Just some housekeeping. This session is being... Hi, Nor. Hi. Hi, everyone. Oh, hello from Petersfield. Can see a few. Hi from India. Oh, this is so exciting. Hello from Croatia. I love to see it, guys. Just some housekeeping to go back to what I was saying. This session is being recorded, so if you haven't had the notification, that is happening. And if you want to send this award ceremony to your friends and family, that is also possible. I would like to say a huge thank you to long-standing friends of the foundation, Michael Omara, who have decided to sponsor Global Canvas for another year this year. We'll be revealing the special Michael Omara Award just before we announce the rest of the winners from the other categories. But before we start, I'd like to say a few words about who DSWF are and what we do. It was actually today in 1984 that David Shepherd, renowned and celebrated wildlife artist, founded what is now DSWF. While stationed in Kenya, David discovered a watering hole that had been poisoned by poachers and that was surrounded by dead zebra and gazelle. After that, he became a committed conservationist overnight. Born from a passionate belief that we must conserve the natural world, DSWF operates under three guiding principles: to fight, protect, and engage on behalf of threatened and endangered wildlife across Africa and Asia. David set up the Global Canvas competition in 2004, and we cannot thank you enough for entering and helping raise awareness for endangered animals across the globe. All I can say is the standard of the competition this year has been higher than ever. We have had entries that have really made us think, and artwork that has represented so many endangered animals on the red list. Winning this year means you have beaten over 1,700 entries from 71 countries. So being a finalist in itself is such a great achievement that you should all be proud of. The margins between the top three places and finalists were so small, and the judges took hours deliberating, finding out the winners. As always, we look for interpretations of the theme that are exceptionally well executed and that are slightly unique, or a picture that is so stunning in technical ability that it stands out from the crowd. I would also just like to mention that our Wildlife Artist of the Year competition, the adult version of Global Canvas, has a specific category for young people aged 15 to 19. So it would be wonderful to see some of our older entrants entering that next year. I am very excited to say I am joined by the fantastic artist Zoe Fitchet this year, who's one of the members of our judging panel, and her job is to explain a little bit about why we picked the winners and what we liked so much about the winners. So Zoe, over to you.
Hi Jess, thank you so much. It's amazing to be here. Well done everybody for all of your amazing entries. Going through them on the judging panel was absolutely incredible. So yeah, you've all done so well. As Jess said, I am a wildlife conservation artist. I'm from Hampshire in the UK. I've always been fascinated by wildlife and the natural world. Growing up on a farm had me out in the English countryside on a regular basis. So it inspired a passion for all living things, big and small. Anytime I wasn't out in nature, I could be found drawing or painting and developing those artistic skills from a very early age. And as an adult, I'm very happy to have a job where I can combine both my love of nature and the natural world and art, and create it into a career that is focused on wildlife art and conservation. And you guys are all doing an amazing job of that already. Creating art to support wildlife conservation comes in many formats, and one of the most thought-provoking is definitely artivism, something that we've seen a lot of in the Global Canvas entries this year. Focusing artwork on the Barometer of Life using the IUCN Red List has resulted in many pieces of artwork that bring attention to lots of species that are often missed in the wildlife art world. So you've done an amazing job of picking out loads of different species. I often create realistic works that are highly intricate, but I still love to play around with colour and style, as there's so many ways of expressing the natural world through art. It's been amazing to see all of the beautiful pieces of work created in so many different ways, from bright and colourful paintings to drawings filled with details, pieces including wonderful habitats and other expressive storytelling artivism. It's been such an honour to see the artworks from this year's Global Canvas. Every single entry showed a real interest in the natural world, and we were so impressed by the level of thought and hard work that had gone into the research and presentation. Art is such an amazing way to tell a story, share an important issue, and inspire change in others, and it's amazing to see that in action through Global Canvas.
Thank you so much for that, Zoe. I just want to let you know what's going to happen for the next 45 minutes. Next, there will be a short talk from Marta and Joanna from the International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN for short, about the Red List and why it is so important. Then we'll announce the winner of the Michael Omara Award. The winner of this award will receive a prize directly from our sponsor themselves. We will then announce the winners of each category, starting with each individual entries from ages 4 to 7, and then group entries finishing with ages 12 to 16 at the end. Finally, Zoe will give us a few artistic tips for next year. As for next year, we will be announcing the theme in September 2024, with entries closing in February 2025. It is now my pleasure to introduce Joanna and Marta, who work at the IUCN Red List unit in Cambridge in the United Kingdom. Their job is to help experts figure out how threatened the species they work with actually are and what Red List category they belong in. Over to you, Marta and Joanna.
Hi everyone, so my name is Jo.
And I'm Marta.
And we work here in the IUCN Red List in Cambridge in the UK. And today we're going to talk a bit more about the Red List and why it's called the Barometer of Life, which was the theme for this year's competition.
All right, so to understand what the Red List is, we first need to understand what extinction is. So as many of you already know, extinction is whenever a species disappears completely from Earth and there's no individuals left. This has happened many times over the history of Earth, but sometimes there are big extinction events where many species go extinct at the same time. And this always has big impacts on the climate, ecosystems, and the Earth overall. We are currently experiencing something like this, which will obviously have a lot of impacts on Earth that we depend so much on. But the worst part is that this extinction event is directly caused by humans. So human activities like overfishing and hunting, destruction of habitats, and introduction of harmful species are all pressures that lead to the reduction of populations and eventually extinction. So we need to protect these species. And to do that, we need to know which ones are more threatened and which ones are closest to being extinct. And that's where the Red List comes in. So the Red List puts animals, plants, and fungi into one of 9 categories, depending on its level of extinction.
So the first category that we have is the category of least concern. Now, this is for all species which we're not urgently worried about, so they might not be facing any particular big threats at the moment, and they're not currently too close to becoming extinct.
Then we also have a category for near threatened, which are those species that are not currently threatened, but they show signs that they could become threatened very soon.
We then have our 3 threatened categories, which are vulnerable, endangered, and critically endangered. And this is where you'll find all of the species which are currently threatened with extinction. And they're split by how close they are to becoming extinct or how big their population declines have been.
We also have a category for all those species that are extinct in the wild and only exist in zoos or botanical gardens. And then we also have a category for species that have been extinct.
Now, we also have 2 other categories, which are data deficient and not evaluated. So the data deficient species are those which we've tried to assess, but we just don't know enough about them, about their habitat, their population, any trends or threats that they're facing. So we call these species data deficient, where we just can't put them in any other category. And there's lots of species that we still haven't got around to assessing yet, and we call those not evaluated.
So putting species into these categories helps us get a sense of how threatened life on Earth overall is. And this is why the red list is called a barometer of life. A barometer is a device that measures air pressure, and the red list measures the pressure that human activities have on life and that is pushing life into extinction. And why is this important? Why do we need the red list? So knowing the categories helps us then decide where we will put our conservation efforts. For example, if a mining company wants to create a mine in the Brazilian Amazon, they can use the red list to check which species are in that area. And for example, if they find out there's a lot of threatened species, then they should probably not build their mine there. It also helps us figure out which cases are most urgent. For example, the Iberian lynx, which lives in Portugal and Spain, was considered critically endangered in 2002, and this is the highest category of endangered. But then effort was put into protecting the species, and in 2015, it lowered the category to just endangered. And hopefully, as the species population increases, it will eventually lower category even more. And the same happened to these species.
So, how many species have we assessed? The red list has been going for 60 years this year, and each year we add more species to the red list. Now, these aren't all threatened species. There are lots of least concerned species there too. So in the 60 years that we've been going for, so far we've assessed over 150,000 species, which you can see on this blue bar here. Now, out of all of these species, 44,000 of them are threatened with extinction, which means that they're in one of the 3 threatened categories: vulnerable, endangered, and critically endangered. So 44,000 species, that's a lot of species. If you can imagine a really, really big football stadium, which is full of people, every single person in that football stadium represents a different threatened species, which is on the red list, which is a lot of species that need our help. Working out how many species are endangered helps wildlife organisations such as the David Shepherd Wildlife Foundation decide where to focus their efforts. Now, you might have noticed that there's also 20,000 species which we've described as data deficient, meaning that we just don't know enough about them at the moment to be able to assign them into a different category. In the red list, we have targets that we want to achieve. So we'd like to assess 160,000 different species across the different taxonomic groups. So looking at the vertebrates, this black elephant here is our target. That represents how many we'd like to assess. In 2015, the slightly smaller elephant there shows the scale of how many species we had assessed. And by the end of last year, this is how many that we had managed to assess. So for vertebrates, we've actually exceeded our target of how many species we'd like to assess. Now for invertebrates, we're getting there, but we've still got a little way to go. Plants, we've actually, again, assessed more than our target. And fungi, we've only assessed, as of 2015, a very, very small number. And by last year, we had increased that by quite a lot, but we've still got a good way to go. Now, we work with assessors who live all around the world in over 180 different countries who know everything there is to know about the species they research. And they help us to assess the species by collecting data for us, which we can use in our assessments. So we rely on them to help us reach our targets. The more we know about, the more that we can protect. So what can you do? Maybe one day you could become a species expert and help us with our assessments. One of the best things you can do to help nature is to learn about it. You can learn about the best ways to protect it, or even start to find out more about some of the species in your area which we don't know much about yet.
And you can find out about the species around you by using the Red List website. For example, me and Jo did this, and we went on the Red List website and selected the area here around Cambridge, that red circle in there. And we found out that there's a few threatened or near threatened species, like the otter, some dragonflies, and some plants as well, mussels. And then you can check the assessment of those species, which will tell you exactly which threats are affecting them. And maybe you find out that you can do something about it. For example, for some insects, you can plant specific wildlife flowers that they really like in your own garden. But anyways, you're already doing a great job protecting wildlife by participating in this competition, which raises funds to protect wildlife. So good job, guys. And we're very, very excited to see the amazing art that you've created. And we'll pass it back to Jess.
Thank you so much, Joanna and Marta. That was so interesting. I loved every minute. So now it's time to start announcing the finalists and the winners. And to kick us off, we have the Michael Omara Award for finalists that came very close to our prize this year. So the winner of the Michael Omara Books Choice Award is the Loki Club at St. Catherine's Primary School in the UK. Michael Omara told us this about the piece. We really liked how Loki Club had interpreted the Under Pressure brief. Their collage of drawings, sketches, watercolour, art and digital methods conveyed the pressures faced by the world's wildlife in a powerful and compelling way. Michael Omara were also impressed by the amount of research the Loki Club did into these threatened species, highlighting lesser known animals such as pangolins, painted dogs, tapirs, as well as iconic animals such as elephants and lions. All in all, it was a hugely thought-provoking piece and beautifully designed. Congratulations to the Loki Club. So here we go with our first category, individual entries ages 4 to 7. Good luck. First, we're going to have a little look at the finalists. These are the finalists that came close this year. Well done, all of you. Some incredible work in there that we can all see. What do you think about it, Zoe?
Oh, we were just blown away in this category. There was so much creativity, so many bright pieces as well, and loads of species that had been picked out that we weren't expecting. So you've got really unusual species there, like the axolotl, the cranes, and yeah, we just loved the use of colour. They were all so vibrant.
I love it. And without further ado, in third place in this category, we have Lena from Australia with these gorgeous penguins. What do you think about this picture, Zoe? I know the judges really loved this one.
Yeah, this one really stood out to us. It was so beautiful, the way that the character of the penguins has been captured. We love the detail of all of the feathers and the background and everything. It just really came together in a really beautiful piece. And yeah, we just thought they looked really cheeky.
Yeah, I love them. They're just fantastic. Well done to you, Lena. And in second place, we have Parapat from Thailand with this amazing whale. Congratulations on coming second. Over to you, Zoe, for some comments.
Yeah, we loved this piece. We loved the lighting especially. We thought it was so clever how there was a sense of depth. I know from experience, painting water is really, really tricky, and this has been done so well. So yeah, well done.
Amazing. And finally, to the winner of the 4 to 7-year-old category. It is Gareth from the USA with this stunning collection of hornbills. I don't know about you, Zoe, but I love how he's represented so many species in this picture and with the vibrancy of colour.
Yeah, definitely. That was one of the main reasons why we picked this piece, because sometimes putting various species into one piece is quite tricky because you have to place them all very carefully. And we just thought that so much thought has gone into the composition of this piece, as well as including some of the threatened plants from Indonesia and around the area that the hornbills live as well. So yeah, loads of research gone into this one and beautifully painted. So it's a very worthy winner. Well done, Gareth.
Couldn't agree more. Just to say, if you see your picture here, just like all the other finalists, you'll receive a digital certificate from DSWF. So look out for that next month. Moving on, we have the finalists for the 8 to 11-year-old category. The quality of the entries in this category was very strong indeed. Don't you agree, Zoe?
Yeah, there were so many pieces that were really, really well put together, but also very thought-provoking as well. There's a lot of artivism in this category in particular, and they have all been done so well.
I could not agree more. So on to third place. Third place in this category goes to Lucas from the UK with this wonderful elephant. Well done, Lucas. Zoe, do you like this piece?
Yeah, this was one of my favourites in this category. I mean, I am a realism artist, so realism always catches my eye, but this one was just done in such a beautiful way. It was so soft and yet had all of the details. Sumatran elephants, I believe that's the species that it's captured here, it's not a typical elephant that you would choose to draw. It doesn't come up very often in wildlife art. So it was amazing to see that in this piece, and all of the little details that he's included. It just looks so beautiful.
I absolutely love the hair on the top of the elephant's head. It's just so sweet. Okay, on to second place, where we have Cherie from Australia with this super cool blue penguin work. I personally think the composition, the colors, everything about this work is really emotive. I don't know about you, Zoe, but I just think it's fabulous.
Yeah, this one caught our eye really early on when we were going through this category. It's really striking with the colours, like you say, but then the more you look at it, the more you see there's the relationship between the mother and the chick, or the father and the chick, and then the habitat's just been put together so well. The ice is all melting away, and yeah, there's just so many layers to this one. So yeah, we really loved it.
It's amazing. Finally, on to the winner of the 8 to 11-year-old category. It is So from the USA with this really thought-provoking piece of artivism. So said a little bit about this work. The orangutans are looking at their natural habitat through a TV which humans use. That's because the only way to watch their habitat is by watching it through a TV. I coloured in the furniture and the wall dart to show that they are depressed by living in human habitats. Really thought-provoking, isn't it?
Yeah, we had so many conversations about this one. We kept coming back to it because we thought it was just so striking the way that it's been put together. It's stripped all of the natural habitat away and just have the stark walls, and the only way to see into it is through this television screen, which is just, it's so sad that we do that as humans. So often we completely disconnect from the natural world. So yeah, it's extremely thought-provoking, and I think it's just a really, really good use of artivism. It makes people think and look and, have those conversations. So yeah, really, really good job.
Couldn't agree more. It's just stunning. So congratulations, So now coming up are the finalists in the ages 12 to 16 category. Here are some of the finalists. Just looking at these, Zoe, what, in your opinion, makes a piece of wildlife art stand out for you?
Well, there's many things because art's so subjective, you know, you've got so many different styles and so many different opinions, but things that were sticking out to us was the composition, the thoughtfulness behind the idea. Some of these pieces are beautifully put together, but they're not just a painting of an animal or a drawing of an animal. There's a lot more to them. But then you also have the other side where things have just been beautifully put together, like the details and the attention to all of those little things have just been done so well. So yeah, there are a few that really stood out in those ways, and they've all been done so well, but in very different ways. So huge variety there.
Thanks, Zoe. Now for the winners in the 12 to 16 individual category. In third place, we have a very thought-provoking work from Chanel in China about a sturgeon. I think this piece is so modern and really contemporary.
Yeah, it stood out to us because of the difference between the delicate petals and the beautiful flowers, and then you've got this sturgeon who's kind of melting away, and it's just got such a lot of depth to it. You've got all the little bits hidden in the flowers as well, like the hope and the please don't touch. There's just a lot of tiny little details which you can just be there for ages looking at all of them. It's just been put together so well, and it picked out a species that isn't often chosen for wildlife art as well. So that really stood out to us as well.
It's absolutely gorgeous. I love it. So congratulations. In second place, we have Kate from Ireland with this beautiful iguana portrait. Kate used coloured pencils, paint, and gold foil to create this, Zoe. Isn't that incredible?
It is. The more you look at it, the more detail you see. It stood out to us because of all of the colour. But then when we started looking in a bit more, you can see the lighting has been done so well. All of those tiny little details in the scales. It's so impressive.
Yeah, I absolutely adore it. And now on to the winner in the 12 to 16 individual category is Pakmul from Thailand with a statement of endangered species, mixing with creativity and a strong conservation message as well. This is quite a complicated work, Zoe, don't you think? It's amazing.
Yeah, there's so much to it, and we love the fact that it had been put together as a completely original composition. So you've got all of these different elements around the table, but the more you look, the more there is, and we thought it was a very good way of sharing a story of artivism that was quite serious, but it's been done in a bit more of a savory way. You can see it and you're not put off by it. It's not something that's really horrible to look at. It's actually very interesting, and we love the little details such as the smoke that's coming out of that pipe there is creating the cage around the bird. There's just tiny little things that you can see. There's so much thought that's gone into this one. It's just blew it away.
So creative. So congratulations, Pakmul. Now we're on to the group entries, starting with ages 4 to 7. And first, a quick look at the finalists. Looking at the complex nature of all of these finalists makes us realise the work that goes into managing group entries in Global Canvas. It must all happen in such a short period of time with up to 30 children involved at one time as well. You would like to thank all the teachers, artists, youth workers, parents, helpers of all shapes and sizes that help make these entries happen and make the competition what it is. So, amazing stuff. But without further ado, third place goes to Moyles Court School from the UK. The attention to detail here is so amazing. And I love how you can really see how everything's handmade. Don't you agree, Zoe?
Yeah. We were looking at all the different elements that have been focused on here. And for a group of 4 to 7-year-olds to be concentrating on these different areas is so amazing. You've got the 3D with the little hedgehogs. We thought they were so cute. And then all of the hanging elements, they've been done by sewing, and then obviously the beautiful painting as well. And it's just been put together so nicely. Yeah, we really loved how lots of different habitats have been chosen as well. So yeah, it's been put together really well.
It's incredible. Now on to second place. This goes to Bloomfield Hall School in Pakistan. We love this entry because it tells a really coherent story about endangered animals and a clear warning about what the future holds if we don't change. I can actually see so much thought in this work, and each individual piece has been so well done. I just adore it.
Yeah, it's such a clever concept and a great way to do a group project. So it's going from the natural world to the middle, where things are, you've got all of the threats and things facing animals in the wild. And then on the left side, the only way of us being able to see animals is through the museum. And I think it's just so clever the way you can really see that progression, and obviously the reasons why we need to be doing what we're doing and helping these animals. And then you've got all of that research at the bottom as well. There's just so much thought's gone into this one. It's amazing. It's
incredible. And on to the winner of the group entries of the 4 to 7s is Forest Sandle Manor in the UK. Huge congratulations. I just love this piece because it's like Jenga. It's so clever. It's just so unique, don't you think?
Yeah, this is one of the ones that stood out right from the very beginning. It's such a clever idea, and every single brick that's been created has got so much detail in there, so many different ideas and so many different species that have been covered, and they're so beautiful all together. But I love the story as well, that with a Jenga tower, obviously you're taking all these species out and then eventually it all crumbles down, so they all rely on each other. And I think that's a really great and really creative way of showing that. So yeah, well done.
I love it. So congratulations on the win. Huge congratulations to all the winners in the 4 to 7 category. We are now moving on to the group entries, ages 8 to 11. I hope you're all enjoying the creativity from the entries so far, and I want to thank everybody who has made this final what it is so far. It's just incredible. Now on to the finalists. Okay, in third place, we have the TGSM art class from Germany. I literally love how you can see how each individual animal has been handmade and so thoughtfully crafted. Don't you think it's so creative?
Yeah, it's beautiful that you can see every single part of this has been handmade, and you can see everyone's little styles as well and how they've made everything. And you've got the little polar bear on top of the world as well, which we thought was a super nice touch.
No, I love it. On to second place now, we have Wiz Creative Club, Westfield International School in the Philippines. This was such a unique entry because of its subject matter, velvet worms, and also its composition. I thought it was incredible. It has depth, it has texture. Don't you agree?
Yeah, definitely. It was one that caught our eye at the beginning, but we weren't 100% sure until we started looking into the whole piece as a whole, and we read about the project, and it was so interesting to find out more about these little velvet worms, and it was amazing for us as the judges to actually learn a bit more about them through this project. So yeah, that was brilliant.
Oh, I love that. Finally, on to first place of the 8 to 11-year-old category. This is one of my personal favourites, and it's the Creative Enterprise Club from the UK. The colours, how it actually looks like you're looking into an aquarium, doesn't it? It looks like you're underwater. It's so vibrant. You can see the textures and the handmade craft in every single element of it. So congratulations to the Creative Enterprise Club. What do you think about it, Zoe?
Yeah, again, like you said, it's just beautifully made. I think the way that they've created all those different textures and the vibrant colours that have gone on top, it looks stunning. It's like you're looking at an underwater scene. I think they've done an amazing job.
I love it. So congratulations, guys. On to the last category that we crown winners of, the 12 to 16-year-old group category. So here are the finalists. The standard has been so high, and the craftsmanship in these works has been bowled us over, hasn't it? It's been crazy.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Absolutely love it. So in third place, we have the Wilderness Protectors VSA Art and Design Studio from Canada. What really got me about this piece is how colourful and well drawn it is.
Yeah, it's so vibrant, and I don't know if you can tell straight away from looking at it, but there's actually a hole in the center around the fish where you can see the background. That's the actual photo of where these two girls were standing. They're drawing all of these beautiful things and then incorporating their own habitat and landscape as well. So I think it's just a really nice way of bringing that whole full circle, like your passion for the natural world and your environment, and then including all these beautiful species as well. So yeah, it's beautiful, really, really vibrant piece.
Completely agree. In second place, we have Animal Lovers, Hurstpierpoint College Prep School from the UK. I love how this is tiles. I think it's really, really contemporary, and I love how you've got the Red List logo in there, the DSWF logo in there, and each individual piece has been done by an individual person. I love it.
Yeah, it's a really nice way to bring together a group effort because everyone's had their own little square to put their own mark on, and yeah, there's so many different styles and so much detail in there, but it all works so well as a cohesive piece. And there's, yeah, you can see all of those different species that are sadly on the red list in those vulnerable categories, and it's a really nice way to go through them all and get to see them in a very bright and colourful way.
Absolutely. Congratulations on second place. Now we're here to the final winner of Global Canvas 2024, and that's in first place is the Heathfield Art Club of the UK. I'm going to hand over to you, Zoe, and tell us just how bowled over the judges were with this artistically.
Yeah, the detail on this piece is absolutely amazing, and it's actually very large as well. We saw images of the children who had made this standing next to it, and it's really big. So the effort that's gone into it is just incredible. There's so much depth to it, and then as you can see on the picture on the left, the attention to detail and the way that the images, the animals have been drawn is just so beautiful. It's a really nice stylized piece of artwork, and it just works so well as an installation. Yeah, we were completely blown away by this one.
It's just great. Okay, guys, we're almost there, but just before we finish, Zoe, from what you've seen from judging and the winners today, do you have any tips for young artists that might want to win Global Canvas next year?
Yeah, so when we were going through all of the entries, there were definitely a few things that really stood out to us, and we were really taken by the pieces that used lots of colour and like different techniques. So not necessarily just a plain drawing, but like some of the images you've seen today, you've got gold leaf, or you've got 3D sculpture and things like that. So yeah, like experiment with lots of different techniques. So that's always really good. Trying out an interesting composition is always great as well, especially if you're wanting to combine more than one species. We saw that in the hornbill piece that won in the individual category. So yeah, there's very clever ways you can use composition to create something that stands out. Finding ways to tell a story through your art. So that's the artivism side of it, where you get so many layers in art. You can see not just a pretty picture, you see all of those little details, whether it be in the habitat or whether it be in the little hidden elements that we spotted in images like the sturgeon piece. That was really beautiful and caught our attention through the storytelling. And then considering including the habitat, I often work with just the animal on its own and don't include the background, but sometimes that really helped us to see pieces that we loved. We were drawn to the habitats and then saw all of the details afterwards. So consider doing that as well. And it's also great to do a bit more research into the habitats as well, so you learn a bit more about the animals. And then two other things are really important is to stick to the brief and to take your time. So don't rush your piece, make sure you give yourself plenty of time and make sure that your entry is on brief so that you're not missed out.
Thank you so much, Zoe. I want to say a humongous thank you to our sponsor, Michael Omara, my wonderful co-hosts, Zoe, Marta and Jo, for such an interesting talk, and of course to absolutely all of you, everyone who entered Global Canvas this year. It's been our best year yet, with 71 countries entering. It is truly inspiring for us to see so many young people all united in protecting wildlife and that loves endangered animals as much as we do. Look out for the launch of Global Canvas in 2025 in September, and we will see you all again next year. Bye, everyone.